All right, thank you very much. All the newcomers are welcome to join, but please officially let me welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear businessmen. Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Navigating China's Business Landscape, Key Insight and Practical Tips, organized by the Slovak Investment and Trade Development Agency in cooperation with EU SME Centre. This webinar is designed to support your journey towards internationalization to China. You will get practical tips. You will get practical guidance, tips on entering the Chinese market, and essential knowledge of current trends, challenges, and opportunities. Our speakers will present you valuable best practices to effectively navigate China's business environment. They will touch topics as China's current economic and business landscape, challenges and opportunities for European SMEs in the market entry pathways, finding partners in China, and conducting due diligence. My name is Lukáš Merga. I work as a consultant at the Foreign Trade Department at SARIO, and I will be guiding you through this webinar. Now, please allow me to introduce today's speakers, namely Deputy Head from Department of National Project at SARIO, Ms. Michaela Slimáková.
Hello, everyone.
A Partnership Manager at EU SME Centre, Mr. Davide Orlandi.
Good morning, everyone.
And our main speaker of today, Business Advisor at EU SME Centre, Ms. Weronika Griglaševská.
Dobrý deň. Hello.
Welcome, everyone. As for the program, we will use the first few minutes to briefly introduce services of Slovak Investment and Trade Development Agency. After that, Mr. Davide Orlandi will introduce you the EU SME Centre. Then we get to the main presentation of today by Ms. Weronika Griglaševská, following with the discussion and Q&A. We have noticed questions you submitted during the registration, and our main speaker will try to cover them all. You can also write new questions to the Q&A, and our speaker will try to answer them all later at Q&A section. Please understand if some of your questions would not be answered due to insufficiency of time, but we can get back to them later offline and try to find a reliable answer for you. One last thing to the intro, this webinar is recorded, and later we will send you the link so you can get back to it anytime later. All right, so before we proceed with first part of the program, I welcome and give word to Deputy Head of Department of National Project at SARIO, Ms. Michaela Slimáková, to open this webinar.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is a great opportunity to know much more about China and their market, as we at the SARIO are organizing a lot, actually, events organized in China or with China. This is a really huge opportunity for you to know how to cooperate, how to find the partners, what are the special treats in China, and what is the really important to know before entering the market. Thank you, Lukáš.
Thank you, Michaela. Now, we will continue with the presentation of SARIO. We will try to keep it short and brief with the only important informations for you. Please just give me a second to share the screen for you. All right, so here we go. All right, so we are the Slovak Investment and Trade Development Agency, shortly SARIO, and we are the investment promotion state agency within the competence of the Ministry of Economy of the Slovak Republic. You will learn later about what all ministries we provide our services, or we directly fulfill missions for them. Basically, we have three kind of missions, the same as we have the number of departments at our agency. The first department is the investment department, and it gives investors support to foreign investors, potential foreign investors coming to Slovakia, giving them all the needed support and assistance and guidance to establish their businesses here. Also about the providing information about state incentives. Then our department, where I work, foreign trade department, our main mission is to support Slovak companies on the global market, and we try to find them reliable partners to widen their market and help them with their export abroad. And then the third is the SME internationalization department, that department is in charge of preparing national stands and taking our Slovak companies to the expos and fairs abroad. Now, as for the foreign trade department, I would just like to highlight few things that we do. We have like three parts of our focus. The first is education and consultancy, and here as a webinar, today's webinar is also part of this. We organize consultation days and also prepare all kinds of manuals for exporters based on the current situations and trends abroad. Then we have this second is the identification of export opportunities, where we communicate very closely with our Slovak diplomatic missions abroad, and cooperate with them in finding the current and the best places where to connect and get the support, and building bridges and platforms with our partner organizations abroad. Then we have these matchmaking sessions and events where we get some foreign business missions coming to Slovakia, and we prepare events for them. We find we always put information on our website that you can find information and then join this event, the same as you found the information about today's event. There is this kind of matchmaking is mostly, of course, focused on the B2B and like one-on-one talking sessions where you can start already some negotiations with the foreign businesses. Yeah, there is much more to that, but as you can see on the screen, I'm gonna move to the next. You can see how we where we everywhere been since 2018, and the places of our interest and of our focus are widening. There at the bottom you can see what I just mentioned at the beginning, that we organize these trade missions directly for the Office of the President of the Slovak Republic, for the Government Office, Ministry of European Affairs of Slovakia, Economy, Ministry of Environment of the Slovak Republic, Ministry of Investment, Regional Development, and so on, and also the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development of the Slovak Republic. You can see so that we are basically focused on all all parts of the world, and that's also thanks to our diplomatic missions in those countries that provide us support with that. As we have today's webinar about China, I would like to also mention our big success in the last year when we conducted the largest business mission to China last year in November 1st to 5th, where we had 54 companies with 71 entrepreneurs, and we had 500 plus B2B meetings during our three big sessions there, and we also like closely cooperated on that with our partner organizations in China, that we are still in a touch, and we can also get support for you from them, as many times we are co-organizing events online or offline, and also we cooperate on preparing the missions to China. So it was, I'm sure you heard about that. It was quite a big news last year. Then for me, the last thing I would like to talk to you is about our Slovak Industry Vision Day. That's like the flagship event of our agency. And since organized, we welcome more than 6,400 participants from 47 countries. And there is a lot of B2B meetings going on every year. The topic, the main topic of this industry vision, Slovak Industry Vision Day, is different, and we are currently under the preparation for this year's Vision Day. So you can see you can get the information later. It will be posted online. You will get it to your mailbox if you are signed up for our emails. And thank you very much. That's all for my introduction. And now please I give a word to my colleague Michaela.
Thank you very much. As you can see, our activities of the National Project Department are almost the same as Lucas was talking, but the main difference is we are supporting only the small and medium enterprises from Slovakia. We have also a little bit different budget, but the activities are almost the same. So I will just briefly talk about each of them. The biggest one, or the most famous for the enterprises, is the organization of the national stands on the foreign fairs and exhibitions. In this activity, we are preparing the national stand all around the world on a different important expos or trade fairs or any different events. We prepare the national stands and companies can present themselves there. The next one are the business missions in Slovakia and also abroad. Mainly we are organizing the one abroad because there is the best opportunities how to meet the business partners and present also activities and services and products from the Slovak companies. Export Academy, our colleagues are preparing the webinars, the one as we are preparing or doing right now. They are the educative versions of information provided, so this is really interesting for you also to attend this kind of the seminars. Regarding the sourcing and cooperation activities together with the supply chain development, our colleagues are in contact with the foreign companies who are looking for producers or partners here in Slovakia. So when they get any information from the abroad that foreign company is looking for the partner, they have the database where they are looking for the especially good contact for this company, and they will match them and try to do the best that the Slovak companies will win this and cooperate with the foreign company. The last one is the new one for these projects, and this is the individual voucher support. What is the difference between the national stand and voucher support? This is mainly for the companies that they are interested in the national stand or the individual national stand, where we as a SARIO are not organizing the national booth. So they can ask for the voucher up to the 10,000 euros, and they can cover the cost of the individual stand for their company. It is really brief, really quick, just to give you an insight how it works. If you will have any more information, you can just send me the email or you can ask via the Q&A. And currently, we have opened these 3 calls for the national stands. One is actually in China, in the Ningbo. Now I'm looking that I didn't write it in English. Sorry, I will change it after this meeting when we will send you the presentation. Sorry, my fault. But the dates are in English. So one is in Ningbo. We have the open call till tomorrow. The next one is Industry Europe in Poznań, in Poland, in June. And the third one is International Electromobility stand, that we will have a stand in Göteborg, also in June. If you have any other questions, not only regarding this event, but also the others, you can just send me an email.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Michaela. Yeah, okay. Now I welcome Mr. Davide Orlandi for his presentation about the EU SME Centre.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Thank you very much to SARIO for organizing this activity with us, and thank you to all of you for joining today. I will be presenting very briefly EU SME Centre before we leave the floor to our main speakers for today. This is a EU-funded project that was launched in 2010 by the European Commission in order to support European small and medium enterprises that want to access the Chinese market or expand in the Chinese market. The reasoning behind this project is that only around 3% of EU-based small and medium enterprises currently export towards China, which is, regardless, interesting market for European export, but at the same time, one of the most challenging ones. Hence, the European Union decided to finance this project in order to provide free of charge services to SMEs that are interested in the Chinese market. What I would like to stress here today is that, of course, our goal is to provide information about the Chinese market, training, any support required. But what we try to do, what I think is the added value, aside from all the training that we can offer, is that being a EU-funded project, we do not have neither the goal of pushing and promoting the Chinese market, nor that of detracting the Chinese market. So what we are able to offer is an impartial and unbiased view of what are the opportunities, which are definitely there, despite of what you might hear sometimes, but also of the challenges that the Chinese market presents. As it was mentioned, it's not an easy one at the same time. With that being said, as I was mentioning, EU SME Centre is a project funded by the European Union, so it is implemented by a set of consortium partners. Currently, for this phase, we have 2 partners based in Europe and 2 partners based in China. In China, we have the China-Italy Chamber of Commerce and the European Chamber. In Europe, we have the Italy-China Council Foundation and the Sociedade Portuguesa de Inovação. Plus, we also work with 2 associate partners, Trade Promotion Europe and the EU-China Business Association, both based in Brussels. As I mentioned, the goal of the project is that of supporting enterprises that want to access or expand in the Chinese market. In order to do so, we've devised 5 core services. I would like to reiterate that all of the services that we offer are free of charge, so do not hesitate to browse our website to learn more about them. The first 3 of them we can think of as a kind of a ladder. So the first step would be the self-diagnosis tool. Here we have a quiz that SMEs can take to assess their readiness towards the Chinese market. So to put it bluntly, do you know everything that you ought to know before you start planning a profitable market access in China? If that's the case, very good. It will be highlighted. If that's not the case, if there's any knowledge gap, the website is designed to redirect the company towards the second service that we offer, which is the knowledge component. Here, all of the documents, reports, guidelines, market studies, and so on and so forth can be found. They range from general introductions to the Chinese market to in-depth sector-specific assessments of the various sectors of the Chinese economy. We also have step-by-step guidelines on how to obtain the relevant certification for the specific sector in order to access the Chinese market. Of course, we hope that through this, the enterprises can already get the answers to the questions that they might have. That is not often the case, not always the case. There might be more specific question that the enterprise might require. So to that end, we've also devised an Ask the Expert function. Here, the enterprises can directly interact with our network of experts, both EU-based and China-based, that under strict confidentiality will reply to any specific queries you might have about how can your enterprises access the Chinese market. The fourth service that we offer is the training services, such as the activity that we've organized today on the Chinese market, on the how to navigate the Chinese market. And the fifth component is the advocacy one. This is mostly targeted at those entities that already have a presence in the Chinese market, because what we do here is we collect any of the issues that enterprises might face in order to gather them and then present them in a coherent way at the governmental level in China. As promised, I tried to be as brief as possible. In this slide, you can find my contact information. If you have any questions, you would like to learn more about the activities that we organize, you're welcome to reach out to me. And with that being said, thank you very much for joining today's webinar. And once again, thank you very much to SARIO.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Davide Orlandi, for your presentation. And now it's time for our main speaker of the day. She served as a second secretary for agriculture at the Embassy of Republic of Poland in China. In this role, she specialized in analyzing export opportunities, facilitating collaborations within the EU, and organizing webinars, including one on cipher system. She provided key support to Polish food and beverage companies seeking to expand internationally. I welcome Ms. Weronika Gryglaszewska.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I will display my presentation. So good morning, everyone, one more time. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Weronika Gryglaszewska, and I am a business advisor at the EU SME Centre, assisting European companies in navigating the Chinese market. While China offers significant opportunities, at the same time, market entry can be quite challenging. So today I will provide an overview of this dynamic but complex market, focusing on trends, opportunities, and strategies that European SMEs can use to succeed. My presentation will be divided into three main topics. First of all, we'll talk about current situation and challenges. Then we will learn more about operating on the Chinese market and good practices. And finally, I will wrap up with the conclusions and how to engage with the EU SME Centre for the support. Sorry. So, current situation. At the beginning of 2025, China remains a dynamic but challenging market. It is essential to understand a few key fundamentals. Please remember about the basics. China is top-down mixed economy, what means that Chinese economy works in a unique way. Central planning sets the vision, like the ongoing 14th five-year plan, while the local governments adapt this implementation of this policy. Right now, priorities are clear: tech independence, going green, and developing new quality productive force, which mainly means high-tech and advanced manufacturing. Now we can see a strong push towards green development. On our website, you can find newly published article about green development in China and the possibilities for the European SMEs. So you are welcome to visit our website and if you are interested in this topic more. So when planning business strategies to enter China, it's helpful to review the local 5-year plans and development plans. These plans provide insight in the goals that have been set and the current direction of the economy. In the media discussion, we often hear about the challenges, about how troubled the Chinese economy is, such as slow growth and unemployment. Why it's true, the situation isn't as catastrophic. China still has the strong consumption power and interest into the EU-made products, but it's important to remember that products won't sell just because they come from Europe, high quality. You need to invest time and effort to succeed in the Chinese market. Charm offensive still exists to attract foreign businesses. When choosing a location for business, it is the best to adopt a sector-specific approach. For manufacturing, focus on cities with strong industrial clusters such as Suzhou for electronics or Chongqing for cars. Even second-tier cities like Hangzhou and Chengdu, each with over 10 million, like for Hangzhou is more than 10 million, for Chengdu is about 16 million, have infrastructure which can compete with the tier 1 cities like Shanghai. If you focus on services or innovation, it's better to stick with the tier 1 cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen. These cities offer a rich talent pool and ecosystem that are essential for fostering innovation. But the reality check is that if you want to be successful in the Chinese market, you have to present a solid business case, because you won't be competing only with other imported goods, but also with domestic production, which can be very high quality and very developed. Local presence to develop your business in China is recommended, sometimes even necessary. Finally, it's important to keep an eye on the changing dynamics in both China and the EU, and to monitor how trade patterns may evolve in the future. As we all can witness now, the China-US tariff war, this can bring both opportunities and challenges for the European companies. It's worth mentioning that despite the challenges, in 2024, China was the third largest partner for EU export goods. That means Chinese market still presents good opportunity and is attractive for EU companies. So what kind of challenges can SMEs expect once on the ground? Unfortunately, a lot of time we see a lack of adequate knowledge, preparation and commitment. As I mentioned, the Chinese market is quite challenging and demands a great deal of dedication to achieve success. We cannot treat the Chinese market as a side project because that approach simply won't work. Another critical factor is to work with the right partners, whether they are distributors or agents. It's essential to find the right fit from the very beginning, because getting out of an existing partnership, for example, with exclusive distributor and terminating contracts, can be difficult, time-consuming, and of course, costly. And as I mentioned, you will also have to face with local competition that can be very fierce. And as you enter the market, be prepared that unwritten barriers can arise. Sometimes sometimes what actually law says is not the same what happened in the practice. So you have to read between the lines and be prepared for many other things that can happen and stay as agile as possible. And what is needs to be stressed? That China is no longer low-cost country. You have to be prepared for high logistic cost, operational expenses, compliance requirements, and also personal costs. Sometimes if you want to hire skilled professional in Beijing or Shanghai, for example, it will cost you more than in Europe. You also need to be mindful of cultural differences, language barriers, because English is not widely spoken in China, and also business culture, which can be very challenging to cope with EU companies. Moreover, the role of government in facilitating or hindering businesses' operation cannot be overlooked. While government support can be beneficial, navigating bureaucratic red tape can be sometimes very frustrating. Now let's take a look at some trade data. Slovakia's exports to China in 2024. The data reveals that Slovakia exports to China were predominantly concentrated in the automotive sector, with the top export categories being vehicles, such as off-road vehicles, station wagons, and related parts. Notably, off-road vehicles account for 34% of the total market share, while station wagons represent an even larger share, 37%. Chinese exports to Slovakia in 2024 were diverse, but show a strong emphasis on high-tech components and automotive parts. A significant portion of this export comprises components and systems such as lithium-ion battery system and LCD modules. This suggests Slovakia's reliance on Chinese manufacturers for components crucial to advanced manufacturing sectors in Slovakia. But please note that these charts were prepared based on Chinese customs statistics, so the data can be a little bit different from other resources. Now let's dive deeper into the specifics of operating within the Chinese market. So entering the Chinese market requires careful planning based on your company's profile and product offering. Here are some key strategies to consider. First, traditional export. This involves selling your products through agents or distributors in China. It's often the easiest way to enter the market with lower upfront costs. Establishing a local entity, this could be joint venture, wholly foreign-owned enterprise, or representative office. Setting up a local entity can provide better market access, but requires a significant investment and commitment. There is option also of licensing and outsourcing. Licensing technology or outsourcing production in China can reduce cost and leverage local manufacturing capabilities. However, it is crucial to protect your intellectual property in this case. Also, there is a good practice to partnering with international clients. Collaborating with international clients who already have established business relationship in China can facilitate market entry and provide valuable insights. But please remember, there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Each method has its own pros and cons and varies in terms of risk, commitment, and investment needed. What you should be aware is regulatory and product compliance. It's essential to ensure your products comply with local Chinese standards. So you have to take into account that some ingredients, components may be prohibited, so your product should be adjusted. You will also have to understand the difference between mandatory versus recommended standards, and also that technical standards are not always 100% aligned with international ones. Of course, many products require lengthy and costly market approval, and you should be aware of strict data privacy cybersecurity regime in China. And of course, ensure that you have sufficient financial resources to sustain operation in China. This includes being aware of initial setup costs, compliance expenses, and the need to adapt to the market. Today, during this presentation, I would like you to briefly introduce you the cross-border e-commerce alternative for the general trade. So China, we can call it China's backdoor for foreign brands to reach consumer without a physical presence. It can be a game changer, especially for SMEs testing the market. So what exactly is cross-border e-commerce? Cross-border e-commerce is a special program that lets Chinese consumers buy directly from overseas via platforms like Tmall Global or JD Worldwide. Unlike general trade, cross-border treats shipments as personal parcels, not bulk imports, which mean lower tariffs, often 0% for goods under 5,000 RMB, faster custom clearance, 3 to 5 days versus weeks for general trade, and no need for Chinese business license. But there is a catch, of course. You can only sell items which are on the cross-border e-commerce positive list. This list currently includes 1,476 commodities, with considerable number being agriculture and related products. Chinese side may also update this list in response to changing consumer demands. Since cross-border e-commerce introduction in 2016, the positive list was updated 4 times. The main products which are sold via cross-border e-commerce include health food supplements, agriculture products, the products which requires the lengthy procedure, access market procedure via general trade. So, in the nutshell, the cross-border e-commerce platform can be a good solution for SMEs wishing to explore market opportunities with limited business experience and resources of the market. But please remember that you will have to secure the financial resources to promote your products on these online platforms. They just won't sell because they are on the platform. The market, online market, also is online marketing is very important. So cross-border or general trade, the answer depends on your product, budget, and ambition. Cross-border may be perfect for SMEs testing demand with low risk, brands with products on the positive list, and companies avoiding heavy upfront investment. But it's worth mentioning that while general trade does not exclude the possibility of selling through cross-border e-commerce, the reverse is not always possible. For example, Polish companies wanted to sell pet food to China, but they lacked the necessary governmental protocol in place, so can only sell via cross-border e-commerce. Now, with protocol in place, they can sell both ways, the general trade and also cross-border e-commerce. What are the main differences between general trade and cross-border e-commerce. In general trade, businesses can operate both online and offline. This approach allows you to engage with agents or distributors within China, giving you a variety of ways to connect with Chinese customers. In contrast, cross-border e-commerce operates only online. You will utilize the major platforms such as Tmall Global, JD Worldwide, Kaola, Douyin, which is a Chinese version of TikTok, Xiaohongshu, and Pinduoduo. The significant advantage of cross-border e-commerce is that allows you to sell directly to Chinese consumers from Europe. When it comes to logistics, general trade offers you multiple sales channels, including business to business, business to consumer, and business to consumer. You have the flexibility to store your goods in various locations. Cross-border e-commerce focuses only on business to consumer sales, requiring direct shipping or customs processing through designated bonded zones. This can simplify logistics, but requires careful planning. In terms of time and resources, general trade methods such as setting a subsidiary or distribution channel can be lengthy and costly process. You may face extensive market access procedures that can take even years, like for some of agricultural products. And there is always the risk of partnering with the wrong distributors. On the other hand, cross-border e-commerce, as much any other e-commerce platform, significantly reducing complexity and allow for quicker market entry. In general trade, you will need to adhere to local standards and possibly register your products. This includes paying close attention to labeling and packaging requirements. However, with cross-border e-commerce, you have the possibility of retaining your original packaging and labeling, which makes a little bit more convenient from many brands. It is essential to weigh the pros and cons of both approaches. General trade can be a lengthy journey with complex procedures, while cross-border e-commerce may offer a more straightforward path, but comes with its own limitation. For instance, while cross-border e-commerce restricts you to the dedicated online platform only, there are volume limits, and you can only sell the products which are on the cross-border e-commerce positive list. And you also may face some challenges with maintaining the control over your products. In summary, both general trade and cross-border e-commerce present unique opportunities and challenges. Your choice should depend on factors like your business model, product types, and resources. And if you are interested more in cross-border e-commerce, we have also a report dedicated to cross-border e-commerce sales in China. Now let's jump to another topic, finding the right business partner, which is very important. So first of all, we recommend you to contact with your local embassy and chamber of commerce. They may have some value connection or database and can share with you. And another very good approach is attending trade fairs in China, but be selective. Not all fairs are relevant to every business. If you select suitable fair, be sure you are well prepared. Understand Chinese market access requirements beforehand and initiate contact with potential business partners to establish good communication. Be prepared that Chinese partners' requirements requires almost immediate follow-up. Remember, the super app WeChat is the most popular communication platform in China, so it's good to download it before coming to China. I think it is the most effective way to communicate with Chinese business partners. Emails are not so popular. Also, attending trade fairs presents a unique opportunity to visit China and to meet in person with potential Chinese business partners, which is very important. You can start to build relationships or in Chinese guanxi, and this is extremely important when doing businesses in China. Now let's take a look at some common pitfalls during the trade fairs. The first one is from the Italian pet food company. They made significant investment in a trade fair, but they didn't know that one of ingredients in their product was unauthorized to export to China. This means that they couldn't secure deals during the trade fairs because they had to first reformulate their product. Another example is from Dutch honey producers. They spent over 6 months trying to obtain CIFER registration, the necessary registration for F&B products, only to have their application rejected due to the lack of the governmental protocol in place. In the end, they went for the food fair with the product which cannot be sold on the Chinese market. So these stories highlight the importance of careful preparation, regulatory compliance, and deep understanding of the local market before investing significant resources. Save your time and save your money. And also, please remember that it's crucial to obtain all necessary permits for temporary import. It will safeguard that you have products to showcase at the fair. And one more quite important example is about IPR protection. We recommend you also to register your IPR even before attending the trade fairs, and sometimes even if you are not going to China to do businesses in China. This is an example from Polish bank PKO. They adopted a European bison as their logo. It symbolized strength, stability, and heritage. And some years later, the Chinese agricultural company had stolen the bison logo and was using it on their website. The logo was nearly identical, same bison design, same posture, just slightly modified. How it happened? The Chinese company likely found PKO's logo attractive. I think they mistake the bison with pig and use it as on their website. In the end, the Polish bank took the legal action, and the Chinese company don't use the logo anymore. But you should be careful. You should be aware of these situations. So how to succeed on a Chinese market? Unfortunately, this is not an easy question, but with good preparation, you can significantly increase your chances on the Chinese market. In simple words, be patient, act gradually, think local, and act long term. Success in China often takes longer than in other markets, so it's essential to adopt long-term perspective. We call it 3-time rule. Achieving success in China typically takes about 3 times longer than in other markets. So when entering China, you are essentially starting from the scratch. You are just a startup. It is recommended to focus at the beginning on only one city. This approach allows you to better understand the market and consumer needs before you decide to scale up. Of course, mistakes and failures are quite common. Sometimes you cannot avoid them, so be prepared to adjust along the way. Branding and marketing are crucial in China and differ significantly from European approach. For instance, social media platforms differ. So if you want to promote your product effectively, you have to get to know WeChat, Xiaohongshu, or Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok. Your market entry strategy should be tailor-made for Chinese consumers. And as I mentioned before, government plays a significant role in businesses in China, so having dedicated resources for government affairs is beneficial. It's also important to recognize that even if your product is well known in Europe, well known in your country, it may not have the same recognition in China. Probably Chinese consumers know very little about your products or nothing. Therefore, you need to present your product to Chinese audience in ways that are attractive to them. Why the term European is often associated with quality and safety, that alone isn't sufficient to success in the market. But now take a look at the case study, successful stories from European SMEs which succeed on the Chinese market. Giolio Tianjin is a subsidiary of the Italian Golio Group. One of the key factors behind company success is strategic location. Situated in Tianjin, a major port city in China, the company has easy access to import and export operations. This location not only facilitates efficient distribution and supply chain management, but also provides a direct link to the food and beverage industry, and enabling them to respond quickly to market demands. Moreover, enterprise has shown impressively adaptability and diversification. Initially focused on tomato paste packaging, the company quickly realized the opportunities in the market and expanded its offering to include juice concentrates. Importantly, they also recognized the growing up coffee market in China and acted swiftly to capitalize on this trend, producing coffee packaging. Furthermore, company has successfully combined the global expertise with local focus by leveraging its international reputation for high-quality packaging solution. The company serves a bridge between Chinese clients and international markets. This unique value proposition not only enhances the client's brand, but also facilitates smoother access to global markets. So in conclusion, Golio Tianjin success showed the importance of strategic location, adaptability, strong partnership, and commitment to quality. Another very interesting example is from an experienced Italian entrepreneur who successfully transformed the business model of the Italian winery Cantine Polvanera in China. His innovative approach focused on leveraging live e-commerce and adapting to the rapidly changing habits of Chinese consumers. Before the pandemic, Chinese consumers preferred dining out, which made restaurants a key channel for wine sales. However, when COVID-19 hit, eating habits have shifted dramatically. consumers began dining at home more frequently and turned to online shopping. To adapt these evolving trends, Cantina Polvanera shipped sales to platforms like Douyin, Chinese TikTok, and Xiaohongshu. In addition, formed partnership with Chinese key opinion leaders, which helped the brand to gain traction and effectively reach its targeted audience. A key aspect of this strategy was embracing the live streaming model, which encouraged impulse buying. During this live session, viewers had the opportunity to purchase wine directly through links, creating seamless and engaging shopping experience. The results were impressive. The Polvanera store on Douyin quickly rose to become one of the top performing stores, successfully shipping a full container of wine to China every month. So in conclusion, Cantina Polvanera serves as a very good example of the importance of adapting to the local market needs, embracing digital innovation, which is very important, and forming strategic partnership to leverage to boost sales. These case studies and also many more you can find on our website. So when meeting with Chinese partners, it's important to be aware of the different business culture. First of all, start discussion from general principles and the broad objectives before narrowing down to specific details, because this approach aligns more with the communication style. Communication in China tends to be more indirect than what you may be used to, so be prepared for nuances in conversation that many things may not be obvious, immediately obvious. Sometimes you will have to read between the lines. Also on our website, you can find the article about the direct and indirect communication and how to prepare to be effective in China, because in fact, this is quite challenging, the communication, the different style of communication. It's crucial to adopt a long-term approach when building relationships. Establishing trust and personal connection is essential in Chinese business culture. The term guanxi or relationships is super important in China. Don't be surprised if your Chinese business partner invites you for a drink, for a supper, or even for a meeting with his family. This is how the trust is built in China on a personal relationships. Be familiar with Chinese business etiquette. Of course, nobody requires that you know everything, but knowing the basics will show your respect to the tradition and can foster your relationship with your Chinese business partner. And finally, be aware that your interlocutor will likely have researched you and your organization. They may expect you to have a solid understanding of the background as well, so be prepared for very detailed questions. We also encourage you to visit China, especially now with visa-free policy for most European countries, to meet potential business partners face-to-face, to get to know them better and to gain a deeper understanding of the culture and of the market. Now let's turn to the legal side of partnership, because no matter how strong your relationship is, a well-structured contract and due diligence are your best safeguards. So before signing anything, always investigate your potential partner's background, look for dispute, financial health, or red flags. It can protect you from being scammed. In the EU SME Centre, we conduct this preliminary background check. So if you are interested in this kind of service, please feel free to reach to us. A solid contract isn't just a paperwork, it's your shield. You must clearly define quality standards, liabilities, penalties, and critically the governing law and dispute resolution process. When it comes to payments, avoid upfront transfer whenever possible. Opt for secure methods like letter of credit to minimize risk. Unfortunately, upfront payments, advance payments, this is the thing that USMEs do a lot and have problems. They pay in advance for the goods from China, and then they didn't receive them or very poor quality, and now cannot contact with the Chinese seller. Unfortunately, it's quite often, so please avoid it as much as possible. And never underestimate intellectual property protection. In China, it's first to file, not first to invent. So register your trademarks and patents early. There is another EU-funded project called China IP SME Help Desk, which are extremely helpful resources in navigating the IPR issue. Their services are also free of charge, so feel free to contact with them regarding IP issues. Remember, these precautions aren't about distrust, they are about building partnership on clarity, security, and mutual respect. Now let's take a look at some company shops. If you see this kind of company shops, different size, different colors with English names, be sure that they have no legal value in mainland China. So avoid partnering with these Chinese business partners. So how should look the proper company shops? They should look like this. They should be red, round, with the red star in the middle with Chinese characters. They can have this inner circle, Latin transcription, but doesn't have to. They have to be red, round with the red star in the middle with Chinese characters. There are only good ones. Now let's take a little bit about spotting the red flags. Sorry. Spotting the red flags when dealing with Chinese business partner. So first of all, always verify the company, if the company has a official Chinese language website and social media presence. Reputable companies invest in their digital footprint. And if you cannot find them online, that's the red flag. Be aware of the advance payment. As I mentioned, avoid it as much as possible. Opt for the safer method of payments like letter of credit. Always double check the bank account. Paying to a personal account or a different namely company is a classic scam tactic. And also dig deeper into the financials. To unpaid register capital can signal a shell company with no real operation. And watch for sudden extra fees, legitimate contractually demand, unexpected notary or admin charges. These might seem like small details, but together they form your early warning system. to avoid fraud and building relationships with trustworthy partners. And if you are interested more in these issues, I think it's quite important issue. We have prepared a report about directing sales contracts and exporting to China, so you can download it from our website via this QR code. So the real work begins once in the market. First of all, as I mentioned a couple of times, intellectual property protection. Register your patents and trademarks before you entering the market, before attending the trade fairs. Because, as I mentioned, China follows a first-to-file system, and delays could cost you your brand. Next, master social media in Chinese way with Chinese characteristics. Forget Facebook or Instagram. It's all about the WeChat, Xiaohongshu, or Douyin. Live stream of key opinion leaders or key opinion consumers to turn viewers into the buyers, like Cantina Porvanera example, the winery. Event marketing is your accelerator, aligned with shopping festivals like Single Day, Double 11, or Liu Yaoba, very popular online shopping festivals. There you can call them cultural phenomena, which can boost your sales. What's the most important? Knowledge is currency. Train importers, for example, video tutorials, because a distributor who understands your product better can sell it better. Customer service is necessary. Chinese consumers expect smooth after-sales support, and this can be a price of their loyalty. And of course, remember about logistic management, partner with local warehouses or bonded zones to ensure smooth and quick delivery. Network, like your business, depends on it, because sometimes it does. Trade fairs, tech seminars, and any other important meetings can open doors no email or WeChat message ever will. And as I mentioned also a couple of times, hire a government affair specialist. Regulation in China shifts very fast, and guanxi or relationship with official can make a difference and can protect you from costly mistakes. Finally, be aware of the cybersecurity, ICT, and data transfer challenges that may arise. And remember, don't take things for granted. There can be a significant differences in taste and knowledge gaps among consumers. So it's essential that your strategy is tailor-made for Chinese consumers. Now it's time for the conclusions and how to engage with the EU SME Centre. So the Chinese market landscape is evolving at the lightning speed, offering great opportunities, but no guarantees. When you are on the Chinese market, you can also use it as a base to South Asia markets, to other South Asia markets. That is also a good strategy. And use this time to learn about new industry trends and innovation. You can develop your product. You can use this occasion. You can use this opportunity. And please remember that you have to be fully prepared before taking a leap. You need more than hope. You need an actionable plan. Start by answering the make or break question. Why should Chinese consumer care about your product? Superior quality alone won't win here. You need a value proposition tailored to local needs. Adopt a marathon mindset, not a sprint. Market entry is gradually and long-term. And of course, remember always to conduct due diligence and have strong contract in place. Opportunities in China exist and you can be successful in this market. Sectors such as food and beverage, machinery, cosmetics, information technology, and retail are among the most represented sectors for European SMEs in China. Moreover, European SMEs with established practice in eco-friendly construction, sustainable transportation, waste reduction, and recycling are well positioned to make a significant impact in China's growing green and sustainable urban development sector. So use every opportunity to be present on the Chinese market, and at the EU SME Centre, we will be here to assist you in navigating the Chinese market successfully. So saying about the EU SME Centre, how can you engage with us? As Davide mentioned, you can complete the self-diagnosis tool, which will help you to assess you how ready you are on the Chinese market. Later, you can discuss with us your results. You can send us your question through the Ask the Expert service. Please participate in our service, call for speakers or comments, propose topics for training session and reports, because we want that our services reflect the real market needs, and contribute to case studies. Thank you very much. I hope this presentation was helpful for you, and I will be more than happy to answer your question. If I cannot answer them right away, I will consult them and come back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Veronika. So please, all the listeners and participants, if you would have any questions now, you are welcome to write them to the Q&A section. You can see down on your screen, and we still have a few minutes to pay attention to your questions. We also received some of the questions before, and so I would ask now, Veronika, if you could you could go through them if they are relevant to you. Thank you, Veronika.
Sure. So, what are the most common mistakes that Slovak companies make when entering the Chinese market? So, common mistakes are for all EU SMEs. That includes not conducting due diligence, not having a solid contract in place. That's the most common mistakes. Sometimes it's choosing the wrong partner and neglecting early registration of intellectual property rights. And in terms of market entry strategy, relying only on a price-driven strategy, like demand for EU products can be for the luxury products, so the only relying on the strategy driven by price, it's not enough. It's not enough. So these are the most common mistakes that I encountered. Like I said, the upfront payment, we have a few cases about with companies, USME companies, who just lost their money because they made upfront payment to Chinese sellers without any contract in place. So please remember, always conduct due diligence. The most effective way is to hire the law company based in China to carry out the in-depth due diligence. So always due diligence and always solid contract in place. If we sign a contract with a Chinese partner, it is binding on them. Can we trust them to honor it? Yes, if the structure of the contract is correct, if the contract is correct, you can rely on them. We recommend that the contract will be bilingual, English and Chinese version. That's quite important. When it comes to disputes, you are going to court, you will have to translate into Chinese. So it's good to have it from the start, the English-Chinese version. You have to include a dispute resolution mechanism such as arbitration or mediation. So yes, the contract is very important and it will be respected in China. I'm planning to purchase a machine from China for several tens of thousands. What should I watch out for? Who can help us with this? Where can I find a reliable agent to perform due diligence, personal quality control during production, or even hand over gifts to ensure quality and check the loading? We recommend you to hire a third-party inspection company, the law company based in China, to carry out due diligence and to establish a solid contract. But also, in this case, it is important to avoid using gifts for quality assurance, as bribery is illegal. Instead, you should rely on contract and inspection. How can I verify the credibility of the potential partners? As I mentioned, the best approach is in-depth due diligence from the law firm based in China. You can also request the business license, conduct site visits to verify the operations. As I mentioned, in the EU SME Centre, we conduct the preliminary company background check, so you also can contact with us. I think we have a question. Hello all. What kind of businesses do you see as the most valuable to enter the Chinese market? So all businesses which are aligned with the Chinese policy now, green tech and renewable energy. All SMEs specialized in this sector have a significant opportunity, but also food and beverage sector, like in China, we can see growing middle class, with strong demand for important European goods, seen as a premium or safer. For Slovakia, it can be a premium dairy product or a wine like Slovakia Tokaj wine. So there is also an opportunity in food and beverage sector, healthcare and pharmaceutical, because Chinese society is getting older, so they will require medical devices and all kinds of healthcare. That is also a good approach, good direction, and also automotive and machinery. China is the world's largest auto market. Demand for high quality components. Yeah, and of course, all kinds of high tech businesses are very welcome in the Chinese market. Which businesses have you been successfully establishing in China, located in Central Europe? I don't really understand this question.
Yeah, if I would paraphrase it, it probably means that what kind of businesses coming from Central Europe you work with, helping them to establish their businesses in China?
So mostly in case of inquiries which we received in the EU SME Centre comes from food and beverage sector. So this is sector which is the most common, and a lot of inquiries comes from this sector.
Right. Yeah, and that's probably also the sector that e-commerce is currently focused on, right?
Yes, because you don't have these pre-market long procedures, access market procedures, when you are selling via cross-border e-commerce, for example, for food and beverage sectors, and also for health supplement. It is a booming market also in China, and it's quite popular on a cross-border e-commerce platform.
Yeah, thank you, Veronika. Yeah. We can wait a few minutes for more questions, or if you have still something on the list from the questions before, you can have a look. Today we have, according to our registration, we have quite a lot Slovak companies from the food and beverage industry. So I find today's topic to be very helpful to them. So,
it's good to know because I'm specialized in cipher registration. So if you have any question about registration in cipher single window system, I also can help with this. You can also contact with me directly if you encounter some problem with this registration. So I have the question, how can I protect my intellectual property in China? I think I answered it already during my presentation. You have to register it as soon as possible before entering the Chinese market, because in the China is the rule first to file. So yes, I think that's the very important issue. And as I mentioned, we have the twin project about IPR protection called IP SME Help Desk, and you can contact with them about the IPR issues. Do you have experience with cosmetic products? Cosmetics products are also the products which are selling good on cross-border e-commerce. They need the procedure via general trade is quite long for cosmetics, because they need to be registered in a national medical center and carry out some testing. The procedure is quite long, so that's why the cosmetics are also very popular in terms of selling via cross-border e-commerce, because they don't have to be registered, don't have to be going through the registration process.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I have answered all the questions on the list.
Thank you, Veronika. So now, before we process to the end and to saying thank you to all of you, I would give a word to the person who I forgot to introduce at the beginning. I'm sorry for that, but that's the person very important that was behind preparation of today's webinar, and it's this webinar wouldn't happen without her help. So Ms. Ziyi Guo, analyst at the SPI, one of the partners in the consortium of the EU SME Centre. So please, Ziyi, give us a few words.
Thank you, Lucas, for introducing me in the very end. And thank you, Michaela and Lucas and SARIO for making this event happen. And I hope everyone enjoyed this event as much as I do. Before you go, I will just share my screen briefly because we would like you to complete a survey for this event so that we can improve ourselves for the next event. And if you can please scan this QR code, you can fill out the survey and tell us how we can improve for this event. And in this QR code, you can also have access to some of the links to the some of the publications that Veronica mentioned in today's webinar. And next, I would also like you to follow us on either LinkedIn and WeChat. And as Veronica mentioned, WeChat is a widely used tool in China, and I would highly recommend you to download WeChat and register before you enter China, because speaking from a Chinese person's point of view, we normally communicate via WeChat, and email is not as popular. So that's it from my side, and I hope you enjoy today's event, and hope in the future that we can see you in our future events.
Thank you, Zoe. Now I would ask Michaela to give a few words at the end.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We are thanking everyone for the joining this, also our panelists and also our attendees. For the last word, I have just a small highlight. If you are interested to go to China with the SARIO, you have a great opportunity to join us for the Ningbo Expo. We are organizing a national stand, a national exhibition at this event, and it will be in May. So if you are interested, just drop me an email or message. We have still open registration and only few spots left. So if it's anything you are interested in, just let me know. I will be happy to help you and to advise you about the process of the registration and more information about that. So once again, thank you very much for all of you, to my colleagues, to our fellow panelists for joining us in this event and provided really interesting and important information about the commerce with China. And we'll be happy to help you also after this event. You have our email addresses, you have our phone numbers, if anything, and we'll be happy to be in touch. Thank you very much.
Also, thank you for me too. Wish you all have a nice day. Bon appetit for your lunch. And I'm looking forward to seeing you participating in our future events.